Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm here for another crochet tutorial that was highly requested. It is going to be on how to make these adorable little bears. They're the cutest things ever, so I will show you how to do this and you can have your very own, and I hope you love them as much as I do. So the first thing is your materials. I use Bernat blanket yarn in size 6, and I do one color for the bear and one color for the snout. Because it's size 6, I use a size 6 hook. I have a tapestry needle, stitch marker, scissors, and then I have a safety nose, which is my personal preference over sewing one on, and then safety eyes as well. I believe they are 10 millimeters. And then of course, some stuffing. We're first gonna start with the arms in the color that you want your bear's body to be. So we're gonna start with a magic circle, and we're gonna do 6 single crochet into this magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we can go ahead and pull the magic circle shut. Now for round 2, we're going to do a single crochet into the first stitch, followed by an increase into the next, and we're going to repeat that all the way around for a total of 9 for the round. So a single crochet, and then an increase into the next, a single crochet, and an increase, and then do that one more time and you'll be at the end. Now you have a total of 9 stitches for the end of round 2, and the rest of the arm is very simple. We are just going to do 4 rounds of 9 single crochet. So we're just going to go around fully 4 times. So that is 1 round, 3 more times. And 9, so we're all done. Now you can go ahead and take some stuffing and stuff this lightly. Now that I've added the amount of stuffing I'd like, we're gonna lay it flat with the last stitch we did on the far side over here, if you can see that. And then we're just gonna go ahead and pinch the arm shut. You can see this first stitch here, we're gonna go through here. And if you look to the back, it should line up with this stitch over here. So we can put our hook through both, and then yarn over and single crochet through both like you normally would. And this is just gonna seal the arm shut. So then we're gonna repeat this across. So if you can see here, this stitch lines up with this stitch here, single crochet, that's 2. One more time for this one is 3. And then into this final one at the front, it's just a little one, is gonna be number 4. And that is gonna be 1 arm done. And you can cut this off. You don't need to leave a long tail at all because we actually won't be sewing these onto the body. You're gonna wanna go make 1 more of these and then come back here to the video. I have finished making the second arm, and you can cut this one off, leaving a short tail as well. Now that you have 2 arms done, we're ready to get started on the body of our bear. To start the leg, we're once again gonna start with a magic circle, and we're gonna do 6 into the magic circle again. No surprise there. I feel like this is how most crochet projects typically start. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we can go ahead and close that up. For the second round, we're going to do increases all the way around. So 6 increases into every stitch to bring us up to a total of 12 for round 2. So that's 1 into the first stitch, 2 into the first stitch, 1 into the second stitch, 2 into the second stitch, and repeat that all the way around. And 12 single crochets for the end of round 2. Now we're gonna move on to round 3 and 4, which are just going to consist of 12 single crochet around. So we're gonna do 12 single crochet around 2 times. And 12. And we are officially done the first leg. For this one, we can cut off leaving just a short tail. But for the second leg, you're gonna make another one of these, but do not cut your yarn off at the end. I now have 2 legs. I have the first one that we cut off and the second one, which I finished, but is still attached. So now we're going to combine them together. We're gonna start by doing a chain of 2. So 1, 2, and then we're just gonna take our next leg and we're gonna single crochet into it. I like to just go into the very last one, just to make it simple. So there. Then we're gonna go all the way around this leg. So we're gonna do 11 more. So that should have been 12 single crochet total, including the very first one, because we've gone all the way around the foot. Now into this chain here, if you can see the 2 loops, we're gonna do an increase into each of these. So we're gonna find our first one, which is this one here for me. They're a little tight sometimes, so take your time trying to get your hook in there. And then we're going to do an increase into this first one. So 1, 2 into the same one. And then we're gonna move on to the next one. There we go. And we're gonna do another increase into this one. So that was 2 increases going across the chain in between the 2 legs. So now we're back to the original foot and we're gonna be doing 14 single crochet. So we're gonna be doing 12 to get all the way around the foot and 2 single crochet in the chain to bring us back to the start. So that was number 12 for the end of the foot. And as you can see here, there is 2 chains left, one here, and that'll bring us back to the start of our round. And 2. So this will bring us up to a total of 30 stitches for the entire round. Now for the next 5 rounds, rounds 6 through 10, we're simply going to be doing 30 single crochet around. So 30 single crochet around 5 times. I have finished my 5 rounds of 30 single crochet and you should have something that looks roughly like this. For round 11, we are going to start by doing 11 single crochets. So we have 1, and 11, and this will bring us roughly to the front of the body. So now we are going to do 4 decreases after our 11 single crochet. So into the front loops of 2 stitches, yarn over, yarn over, pull through both, yarn over, pull through both. And we're going to do that 3 more times now, all the way across the front of the body. So 2, 3, and 4. So now we're going to do 11 single crochet to get back to the end of the round, and this will bring us down to a total of 26 single crochet for the round. And 11, so for the end of round 11, we have 26 single crochet. Now for round 12, we're simply going to do 26 single crochet around. For the end of round 12. Now moving on to round 13, we're going to be doing something similar to what we did before. We're going to do 11 single crochet again. And 11, after our 11 single crochet, we're going to do a decrease. And then since mine's a little bit off center, I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the middle and then another decrease. If yours is perfectly centered though, you can just do 2 decreases right in the middle. And then finally, to get back to the start, I will only need to do 10 single crochet, and this will bring us down to a total of 24 stitches for the round. And 24. Now moving on to the next round, we are going to just simply do 24 single crochet around. And 24 single crochet around, and you'll have something that looks like this. Now we're on to round 15, and we're going to start to decrease again. So for this round, we're going to be doing 2 single crochets followed by a decrease. So that was 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and then a decrease. And we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around for a total of 18 stitches for the round. And then 18 for the end of round 15. Now for round 16, we're simply going to be doing 18 single crochet around. 18 for the end of round 16. Now is where we're going to want to start to stuff the body. So what I like to do is I take 2 little balls of stuffing and put them in each of the legs to make sure those are full, and then I just stuff the body like normally to a bit below where we're going because we still have a couple more rounds to do. Now we're ready to move on to round 17, which is where we're going to attach on the arms. So I'm going to start with 5 single crochets. And this round you may have to adjust slightly by a couple single crochets here and there just to make sure your arms are centered based on how tight you crochet and how you've gone through this pattern, if you've altered it at all. So you can always try doing it with the numbers I'm providing and then adjusting from there to make sure they look just how you want them. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my first arm, and what I like to do is the next stitch here, I just go in backwards, and this tail end here, I just grab and pull through. And one more thing to note is if you look at the arms, there's one way where they face like this and one way where they face like this. I personally like to have mine facing down, but if you want them facing up, you'll just do this in the opposite order. So now that this is pulled through and tight, we're gonna single crochet through both the arm and the body. So if you can see here, this is the first single crochet of the arm, and we're gonna go into that body, into that same stitch where we pulled that first thread through. Then we're just gonna single crochet like normal, but going through both the arm and the body to attach them together. Then we're gonna do this for the next stitch as well. Kind of similar to how we sealed off the arms. So if you can see this second stitch in the arm, the next stitch down on the body, yarn over, pull through both, and single crochet like normal. And then we're just going to do that 2 more times to get the arm attached onto the body. Final one into this one here, and a single crochet. And as you can see, the arm is now attached onto the body of our bear. Then I'm going to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is where I want to place my next arm. So again, I'm going to go backwards through the next one. This step is completely optional, by the way. You don't have to do this. This is just what I like to do because afterwards I tie the 2 ends from the arms together inside the body, and this just makes it possible for me to do that so that I'm confident that everything is secure. So again, through the first stitch of the arm, through the next stitch on the body where we pulled our thread through, yarn over, pull through both, and then single crochet like normal. I'm just going to repeat that all the way down the arm. And then 4th and final stitch for this arm, and then I have 1 left on the body to go through, and we are done for round 17. So if you look, you should have something like this. If yours are a little crooked or uneven, feel free to go back and readjust as needed. Now moving on to round 18, we're simply going to be doing 18 single crochet around. That is 18 single crochet for the end of round 18. We have a little angle change so you can actually see what I'm doing. For the first round of the head, we are going to start by doing 2 single crochets followed by an increase to bring us up to a total stitch count of 24 for the round. So that was 1, 2, and then 3 and 4, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. "24 stitches total for that round. Now for this next round, round 20, we're going to continue increasing. So we are going to be doing 3 single crochet followed by an increase to bring us up to a total of 30 stitches for the round. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're gonna repeat that all the way around. 3 single crochet and an increase. Now for the next 5 rounds, we are going to be doing single crochets all the way around. So 30 single crochet around 5 times. By now, I hope you know how to do a single crochet, so I will do it off camera and I will meet you back once I have done 5 rounds of 30 single crochet. I've finished my 5 rounds of 30 single crochet for the head, and now we have something that looks roughly like this, and I'm just gonna finish stuffing the body here. For the next round of the head, we're going to start to decrease now. So we're gonna be doing 3 single crochet followed by a decrease all the way around to bring us down to a total of 24. So that was 1, 2, 3, off camera, sorry, and then a decrease. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. And that one final decrease will bring us down to 24 for the round. Now I'm going to stop here to show you how to make the muzzle, because I like to sew it on while the top is still open. So I have my other color now and we're ready to make the muzzle. To no one's surprise, we're going to start with a magic ring again, but this time into this magic circle, we're going to do 8 single crochet instead of 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we can go ahead and close this up. Now for round 2, we're going to simply be doing increases around. So we are going to do an increase in every stitch to bring us up to 16 for round 2. So we have 1 in the same stitch, 2 in the same stitch, and we just repeat that all the way around. And 16. Then for round 3, we're simply going to do 16 single crochet around. So 1 in every stitch. And 16 for the end of round 3. So I'm going to do 1 more round of 16 single crochet. And then finally, I just do a slip stitch into the first stitch that we started in. So yarn over, pull through, and pull straight through. And then that is that all done. And you're gonna wanna leave quite a long tail to sew the nose on. And then the one final thing is when I sew it on, I always put this at the bottom so I know where to place my nose. But again, the positioning of your nose is completely up to you and where you'd like to put it. It turns out I do not have backings for big noses, but we'll go with a small nose and you'll still get the idea. So we're gonna take our bare body. You're gonna want the front side facing up so you can tell because it is the side with the stomach. And then just kind of roughly place the muzzle wherever you want it to go. The head starts to turn in starting with the last round we did. So I would say don't go into this round. I would say probably the one below it. I usually start around here at the neck-ish area. And then I just like to center the slip stitch in the middle of the bear's face and then insert my needle into there. So if you can see there, I'm gonna insert my needle into the middle. And then my method is I will go sideways a couple times and then diagonal and up and then diagonal and across the top. So I'll go sideways a little, diagonal up, diagonal over, diagonal down. That's not how big the muzzle is, but just to give you an idea of what I'm doing. So this is my first stitch here. I'm gonna go from the slip stitch where I want it centered over. And you can see now here, roughly centered. And then what I like to do is I will go up into the next stitch on the muzzle here. I will go through it, pull it nice and tight, and I'll actually go back in to the stitch on the body that we just came out of before going over to my next one, which I'm gonna put over here. If you have a different sewing method, of course, feel free to do it however you like. This is just my method if you need one. So again, I came up in the next stitch, pull through. You probably have a shorter thread than I do. And then I go back into the same one and then over to the next one. And I'm just gonna go all the way around until I'm almost at the end. As I said, I'm almost at the end and I have a little opening here. So what I'm going to do is take some stuffing and lightly stuff the muzzle because I do want it to be able to hold its shape. So I'm just gonna go like this. But now that it's stuffed, feel free to finish off sewing the muzzle on. Now that the muzzle is sewn on, I have something that looks like this, and it is now time to add in the eyeballs. I always just put them on either side of the muzzle right above it. But again, the eyes and the nose are basically all just personal preference, so feel free to put them wherever you'd like. So I'm happy with putting my eyes here. Ignore the small nose. I know it looks weird, but you're getting the idea. Next round of the head is going to consist of 2 single crochet, followed by a decrease, repeated all the way around to bring us down to a total of 18 stitches for the round. So again, that was 2 single crochet, followed by a decrease all the way around. And 18, and this is where I like to start to stuff down into the bottom of the head, just where it gets a little bit more difficult to reach as we continue to decrease around. Now that I've added some stuffing, I can continue on to the next round, which is going to be 1 single crochet followed by a decrease now. And 12, and now you're going to want to basically finish stuffing the head. Now for the next and final round of the bear, we're simply going to do 6 decreases. So 1, and 6. And now you can fasten off, leaving a medium-sized tail because we are going to sew the top of the bear shut. To sew the head shut, simply thread your needle, and you're going to go into the front loop, or the top one that you can actually see, on all the stitches around in that final loop. So that was 1, this will be 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then pull on it nice and tight to close up that hole, and it should also get rid of most of the pointiness at the top. And then finally, I just like to go up and down a couple of times with the leftover thread just to make sure it is nice and secure. Now that that's done, it's time to move on to what I consider to be the most important part of making the bear cute, and it will be the ears. Again, to no one's surprise, we are starting with a magic ring with 6 single crochets in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you can go ahead and close that ring up. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do 5 increases. So into the first 5 stitches out of our 6, we are going to do an increase. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to do a slip stitch into that last single crochet that we did not increase into. And this is just so that the bottom part here is flat. And then this is what your ears will look like. And you'll want to go ahead and make 1 more. And you're going to want to leave a fairly long tail because we will be sewing these onto the top of the bear. Now that we have 2 of those, we're ready to sew them on, and I will show you my preferred method. So my first step is always to play around with where I'd like to place them. My method at the moment is I usually center them above the eyes, and then I just move them forward and backward until I'm happy with where they are. Then what I'll do is, using the thread on the back, the short one from the magic circle, I will go into the top of the bear where I wanted to place the ear, and I will go somewhere out the back, and I will just pull it out and leave it there. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing with the other ear. Now line up the row that I put this into, but on the other side, and I'm just going to go in, but I'm going to put it through to the same stitch as that first thread there. There we go. So now both ears are loosely in the spot that I want them, and these two threads are coming out of the same stitch, so I can knot these together at the end. To sew the actual ear on, I just pick the furthest point down I want the ear to go, and I just go through that stitch with my needle, like so, and then I go back up into the ear, and then I just kind of repeat that process going across where I want the ear to go. So I've gone over into the next one. I'll go up and through the ear somewhere. Go into the back, and then I'll probably pop out back in the front. And then again, back through the ear. At this point, I'm basically just making sure it's secured and then adjusting any positioning to make sure it looks exactly how I like it. And now that I'm happy with how the ear has been attached, I'm gonna do the same thing we did for that very first thread from the ear. I'm gonna pick a random spot on the back and pull my thread out there. Then you can go ahead, finish sewing on the other ear however you'd like, and then pull that thread out into the same one that we just did here. Now that both my ears have been attached, I'm gonna flip it over to the back, and I'm basically just going to tie maybe 2 or 3 knots with each of these threads. I would say definitely make sure that they are coming out of the same hole, because if they're coming out of different ones and you knot them together, you will not be able to get them inside the body. As you can see, I've knotted it together a couple times. Then I just take scissors or my needle or a hook and just push the thread back inside. And you are now done with your very own little crochet teddy bear. As you can see, I'm working on growing my own army, but if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I would love to see your creations. Feel free to tag me. All my socials will be in the description down below. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment. I am happy to help. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. So thank you and see ya.